when I left Mormonism and I shed my Christian conservative presuppositions and my attachment to those things, and as well as my belief in some sort of higher benevolent power, I gravitated towards more left-wing politics. So the idea of government as that which provides, and the importance of the welfare state, and the importance of a big social net which keeps people from falling, and these social services like free healthcare and women's reproductive rights and everything else that I bought into, because this was the alternative to a loving, caring God. Even in the Catholic tradition, there's an understanding that the state it's a true institution, that it is itself a perfect society. And now by perfect, I don't mean that it operates flawlessly, but that it is complete. The state is a complete society. Conversely, the church also says that it itself as church is a complete society. It doesn't need to go outside of itself. Everything that it needs to exist is contained within. Conversely, the family is considered an imperfect society, because there are things that the family has to go outside of itself to attain. And so down at my level of the individual, looking up to these larger immaterial societies, the state and the church, well, now the church is just disqualified. It's a competition. It's a competitor. It's something that's trying to oppress and to limit and restrict. Whereas the state, on the other hand, it's more tangible. It's more real. It's made up of actual people doing actual work, and that can be seen in and throughout my existence, my reality, as well as the greater community and society itself. So the state began to occupy that role as being that which cares for and provides and assists. So you have things like the fire department and the police department and the road construction and everything else, where you can say, like, these are actual goods. They're actually benefiting and blessing society. This, in a way, became my God, which I think is all too common. And even people like Stephen Molyneux, that YouTube philosopher, says as much, is that the state fills this role for God, as God for atheists and non-believers. And it seems to bear itself out in how people on the left side, their disposition towards religion and towards God. Is that?
Yeah, completely.
Yeah. So the state was a big one. Seeing the state as this good, which filled the role of God, that began to fall apart as well. At some point, I began to look at, well, what are the actual activities of the state? What's going on? And this is around the time of 2016. So you had, this 2016 elections with Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. And there were a couple of things that came to light that helped me to see that, perhaps the state is not so clean as and benevolent as I would have liked to have thought it was. And so this was one thing that came out of the 2016 election. And I wonder if you remember this, that there was, once conversations about Russia started to pick up, and Russian interference and Russia being very favorable towards Donald Trump, and Donald Trump likewise being favorable towards Russia. Around the time that this narrative was building, there was a story came out that Hillary Clinton, as the Secretary of State, had made this underhanded deal with Russia to provide them with 20% of U.S. uranium. Do you remember this?
No.
Okay. So it was a huge story that there was this underhanded deal by the Secretary of State to provide an adversarial state with a good portion of our uranium. And so when that came to light, it just pulled the rug out from under me, because at the time I assumed that Hillary Clinton, representing, the more left-leaning side of politics, the Democratic Party, that she represented the good state that I had come to believe in. And so it was just this weird turn of events where, like, okay, well, that's a little odd. Hillary Clinton was doing the thing that she was accusing Donald Trump of doing, and there seems to be like this concerted effort by the media to conceal it and to hide it from me. And then, so the narrative began to rapidly change. Well, okay, well, maybe the state is not so good. Maybe there are these other interests and other actors at play that are, really pushing for people to adopt a sense of, statism and a belief that the state is going to provide and take care and do all good things. And so one thing led to another, and I began looking into the military-industrial complex and reflecting on my own time in the military and seeing like, okay, foreign intervention after foreign intervention, and so what is it exactly that the state is doing? So that began to crumble, my distrust for the state.
Hey, thank you so much for watching. Before you go, do us a favor, leave a comment, let us know what you thought of the video, like, and subscribe.